What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one never knows best, and today with the recent announcement of Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 4, wink wink, or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, as we now know it is actually officially called, I wanted to take today's video to go ahead and do a bit of a deeper dive into the gameplay trailer that we got, which, by the way, is actual gameplay. If we just quickly go here and fast forward a little bit, you can see down here in the right hand corner it says actual gameplay and cutscenes. I pointed this out in the first video that I did, giving my initial reaction, and I still got a comment from some dude being like, "Oh, it looks alright, I guess, but I'm gonna wait till actual gameplay." And I was like, "Sir, this is actual gameplay." But I digress. But yeah, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of analysis on this trailer. Also, we have some press release stuff to go over, some conversations that I've been having on Twitter. I basically want to do a bit of an analysis and discussion, talking a bit about this game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into a lot of things I want to talk about, but we're just going to jump right in with watching the trailer back and just kind of picking some things out and talking about it a little bit. And there might even be some points where I like mute it and go slow-mo with it. But presented by Bandai Namco, of course, as most anime games are these days. And this opening scene right here in this trailer, you know, initially I thought that maybe this was a story mode cutscene because, again, it says gameplay and cutscenes. But then if you look, I realized that this isn't the outfit Vegeta first wore when Goku and he fought, you know, in this on this stage. I thought initially this would just be, you know, the Saiyan saga, the Goku versus Vegeta fight, but he's wearing his Android saga clothes. So that to me means that this is probably just like an intro to like when you first load into a stage to fight your opponent. This is probably just how like the matches open up, which is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, this looks really sick to me. Also, I just want to note that the art style for this game looks incredible. The characters look gorgeous, the designs, the coloring, the shading, everything looks phenomenal. It's especially worth noting considering that this is being developed by Spike Chunsoft, which we're gonna talk a little bit about the developer, and everything a bit more in this video as it goes on. But these are the people who made Jump Force, and Jump Force, if you ask me, was a very ugly video game. This game, however, is gorgeous and is arguably the best looking Dragon Ball game to date. Obviously, Kakarot is up there, although I think it fumbles quite a bit at times. And Fighters is up there, and that's probably the gold standard, I would say, for a lot of people. But what I will say, and that is worth noting, is that this looks very close and very similar to the Shintani designs, like what we got in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, which to me is the best looking piece of Dragon Ball anime, period. I think the DBS Broly movie is like the tops for Dragon Ball media, just in terms of like design, aesthetic, coloring, and everything like that. So I'm glad they're leaning more into that as opposed to the old Yamamura designs, because I honestly think this looks even better. That being said, also a new Budokai Tenkaichi begins. Again, this is, at least they're trying to make us believe this is a Tenkaichi game. This is, whether it's a reboot, remake, or a modernized version, sequel, whatever the case is, they are branding this as a Tenkaichi game, despite the fact the name is Sparking Zero. And again, I mentioned this in the last video, but I just want to reiterate that Sparking is what the Tenkaichi games were labeled as in Japan. I don't really know what the reasoning is behind them finally bringing that name to overseas and like even marketing it that in English, but I digress. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't really think it matters, but it does kind of also give them a tiny bit of an out, because it's like, oh, like it's Tenkaichi inspired or Tenkaichi-esque. It's not really like, you know, we had Ultimate Tenkaichi, and that game flopped horribly and was poorly received by most people. And it was like, how dare they call this a Tenkaichi game? Like, this is the disgrace to the Tenkaichi series. And I was like, oh, this isn't Tenkaichi per se, it's Sparking. But no, Sparking is Tenkaichi, and you guys are calling it a Tenkaichi game. So ain't gonna be no easy way out if the game ain't heat. But it looks pretty heat so far, like, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, moving on, the anime, the impact frame, what a perfect pause, by the way. The impact frames look crazy, okay? I love when it go black and white like that, just to show how heavy this impact is, just make it feel a little bit more, well, impactful, for lack of a better word. And again, actual gameplay and cutscenes. You can see here Vegeta knocking Goku through this rock formation. You can see environmental damage already shown to be in the game. Now, how permanent is this environmental damage? That's a question that's yet to be answered, obviously, and we won't know that until a later date. But it does look like you destroy the environment, which is always a nice little touch to Dragon Ball games, seeing the stages get destroyed as you continue to fight, because we see that all the time in the actual Dragon Ball series, whether it be the anime, the manga, the movies, whatever the case may be. Then you see Vegeta fires off a Gallic gun, teleport, fires one right back. But then what you'll see here, which, by the way, the beams look incredible, but Vegeta just reflects it, just reflects it right away, which is a mechanic that we've seen in previous Dragon Ball games, be it the actual reflect mechanic or Z reflect, I think they call it in DBFZ, or they had something like this in Raging Blast as well, which, by the way, I've seen some conversation about whether this game looks more like a Raging Blast game or a Tenkaichi game. I don't really care, even though I liked the Tenkaichi games more as a kid than I liked Raging Blast. I'm actually not a fan of the Raging Blast games, especially Raging Blast 2. I think Raging Blast 1 is the better one between the two, but I don't love either of them. But that's not the here nor there, it's just my opinion. But yeah, they also had a mechanic like this where you can deflect beams. Hopefully there's a little bit more timing involved with it than how it was in the past, because before you could kind of just mash it and just do it for free. But you know, I digress. Also, transformations. Now, I don't know if these transformations are actually happening in game, which, by the way, again, the designs, the color, everything looks incredible here. I don't know if these transformations are actually happening in game, but I hope that they are bringing back in-game transformations. I know that's something that's like missed by a lot of people in Dragon Ball games these days, where they want to be able to, you know, power up and transform mid-fight. And I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty heat for me as a kid as well. So bringing something like that back, giving it like that nostalgic, that old school feel, and just making it feel more Dragon Ball, you know, powering up mid-fight, I think will be a great touch to the game. And they also tease something here that looks like a beam clash. Now, they cut right after, right? So this could be some editing tricks. This could be them, you know, kind of low-key trying to finesse, because it cuts right as they're about to clash, right? Right as they clash. And obviously there's no HUD, there's no inputs on screen, anything like that. So we don't know if there's an actual beam struggle that goes on here where both players now have to spin the sticks or mash a button or do something to overpower the other opponent. Beam struggles are cool, beam clashes are cool. I've never been somebody who's like super gung-ho about them in games. If they're there, dope. If they're not, I don't miss them. But obviously with it being a Tenkaichi game, you kind of want that in there, because that was one of the things that we all remember doing as a kid. What I will say though is that let me go ahead and plug this real quick. These controls we got nowadays, these DualSense controllers, I don't really know what it is, because you'd think these would be of higher build quality and everything like that than the controls that we had back in the day. But between the stick drift and just, this is already like my 4th or 5th DualSense controller. I've already, like, they have broken on me on multiple occasions, whether it be the D-pad giving out, the sticks not working, whatever. They're not the best. I'm not gonna hold you. And they're very, very expensive. I want to say these are $70 a piece. I should have picked a couple more up on Black Friday, but if we have to twirl the sticks furiously to win beam struggles like we did back in the day, we're going to be running through a lot of very expensive controls. So I would honestly prefer, and you guys can let me know whether you agree or disagree with this, if it's a button mash, because I feel like the buttons are more durable than the analog sticks are on these controllers these days. And you know, you could argue about whether that's easier or better or worse for the controller or whatnot, but I just feel like it's probably the better solution between it, where I'd rather, you know, be mashing X or mashing square or whatever to try to overpower my opponent in a beam struggle, assuming beam clashes actually are in fact in the game. Moving on. Frieza looks incredible, not gonna lie. I was surprised that we didn't see Frieza go golden. Something else that's interesting in this match, also the stage destruction looks crazy. Shake the earth indeed. Weave, teleport, woo. Kind of giving me Xenoverse vibes there a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. It does look like a modern version of Tenkaichi mixed with Xenoverse and some Raging Blast. It's kind of like an amalgamation of all the, like, hopefully the best parts of all those games. Yeah, and then DBS Broly. Also, I was gonna say, we see a lot of characters in this trailer. So we see Goku, Vegeta, obviously Frieza, Broly. We even see Bergamo here in a moment. But you know, one character that we interestingly didn't see. So we're going Broly transforming, looks sick, looks incredible. Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien. We see Trunks twice, Android 18, Cell, Hercule, Bergamo, of all characters, Android 17, Jiren. We didn't see Gohan. And of course, this character, I mean, like, Gohan is Gohan. He's gonna be in the game. There's gonna be 17 different versions of Gohan playable in the game. But does anyone else find it a bit strange that he just wasn't shown at all in the trailer? Like, real quick, if I just runs back in slow-mo and just, you know, we just let it play out real quick. We'll go ahead and mute this. You see, again, Broly transforming into Super Saiyan form, which, by the way, in true Tenkaichi fashion, I need each variation of Broly. So I need base form Broly, I need Super Saiyan Broly, I need like Fury, Berserker Broly, whatever you want to call them. I need each one of those playable, and I'm sure that's what they're going to do, because they've already kind of given us a little bit of a hint about what the roster could potentially look like, not only just from these character reveals, but from something that they said. And we'll go ahead and talk about that in just a moment. Yeah, Goku, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, Trunks, Android 18, Cell, Hercule, Fat Boo, another version of Trunks, DBS Trunks, Bergamo. Just say like, hey, every character you want gonna be in this game. Basically what they're trying to say with that one, because that's like such a random character to throw here in this trailer, right? So 17, Jiren, Super Saiyan Blue Goku again, and no Gohan. No Gohan. Very strange. But anyway, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, that is the official title for this game. Again, not really sure why they're leaning into the Sparking you know, name scheme as opposed to sticking with Tenkaichi, especially since they're pushing the fact that this is a Tenkaichi game. Seems a little bit weird and confusing to me personally. I don't know, but it doesn't matter that much. And then we have here one of the other huge talking points about this game, Spike Chunsoft. This is the developer of Sparking Zero. Now I'm seeing a lot of mixed conversation and opinions and whatnot on Twitter right now. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and grab something off the shelf real quick. Did I move it over here? No, it's still over there. Okay, hold on, I'll be right back. So here in my hand, I have the 3 original Tenkaichi games, Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3. And if you flip these on over on the back, on the boxes, you can see that these games were in fact developed by Spike. See that logo right there? All 3 of these games were made in collaboration with Spike and Atari. Now, this Spike is the same Spike that's in Spike Chunsoft, except not exactly, because Chunsoft was a separate company and they eventually merged together. And well, since that merger, they haven't really had the best track record with the games that they've made. Now, I point this out because I've seen a lot of people kind of skeptical, and understandably so, about Spike Chunsoft, but a lot of people don't even realize that the original games were made by Spike. Now, of course, this is something I've been mentioning since the very beginning, because I was like, hey, like as hype as a new Tenkaichi game is and can be, the original ones were made by Spike. Spike doesn't really exist in the form that we knew it back then, and the games that Spike Chunsoft has made, most of us haven't really been big fans of. So if I actually take it over here and take you guys over to my other monitor real quick, you guys can see here I'm on the Wikipedia page just showing you guys some of the games that Spike Chunsoft has published and or developed. And while they have some cool titles in here, like I know people are huge fans of like the Danganronpa games, but if we take a look at like some of the anime games that they have made in recent years, that they have developed, they made J-Stars, which, like, you know, it was cool, it was whatever, had some potential, didn't really live up to the hype of you would expect of a game of that caliber, right? And then, you know, Victory vs. Plus, but they also made Jump Force, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, aka One Punch Man, a game nobody knows. I think that game came and died in like a week and got shut down or whatever. They're working on Sparking Zero, they've already got it up here. They also made where is it, Dragon Ball Z for Connect, which, you know, again, speaks for itself, as well as One Piece Burning Blood. So like over the course of the last decade, the games that they have produced, for the most part, in terms of the ones that, you know, are the most important as it pertains to our community and the ones that we consume and enjoy, they haven't been particularly great, and they're not games that, well, frankly, I think any of are good. I don't think any of those games we just talked about or mentioned are good games. That being said, there's a very similar style between like a J-Stars and a One Piece Burning Blood and a Jump Force and a One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. Those are all like nearly the same game, just with different skins or whatnot. And this doesn't look like it's going to play anything like those games, right? This looks completely different. It looks more like a Tenkaichi game. So it looks like they are trying to go back to their roots and kind of, you know, recapture that old school vibe, that feel, that those mechanics of what they created with the original Tenkaichi series. So when it comes to whether or not this is going to be a great game, I definitely have high hopes. My expectations I'm going to keep tempered. However, it does look like they're doing their best to take it back to the old school games and not do the formula that they have been using for the anime games that have kind of flopped recently. So I absolutely understand the cons for skepticism. I have some myself. You know what I'm saying? I tend to be a bit pessimistic or skeptical in these situations, so I'm no stranger to that. But I am hoping for the best, of course, because I want this game to succeed. I'm sure you guys all want it to succeed as well. And honestly, lately on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of people like the hype feels like it's increasing over these last couple of days. This is the second day after the trailer was released now, and I'm seeing people just get more and more excited and talk about it. And while there are some people being like, hey, I don't know, Spike Chunsoft, they really gonna be in their bag, people are starting kind of warm up and just like, nah, bro, this is gonna be the greatest anime game ever. And obviously that's a pretty, well, I was gonna say it's a pretty high bar, but not really, because anime games kind of really ain't been hitting the way they used to. Like connections ain't really on, you know what I'm saying? DBFZ was phenomenal, and that's like, you know what I'm saying, that's one of the greatest ones of all time to me, but its current state is, you know what I'm saying? And Xenoverse, again, it was up here on the pedestal, but it's also got a list of flaws. And like, there's some great anime games that we've gotten over the years, and there's some ones that are not so great, and then even some of the great ones, they have some pretty glaring flaws. And so I was gonna say it's a high bar for them to reach, but I don't really know if that's the case. So this could potentially be the greatest anime game of all time. Who knows? Fingers crossed. I would love for that to be the case, right? Because I'm in there day one, in their live stream, where I will definitely be playing it, streaming it, content, all that stuff. That's why I'm covering it now. That being said, before this video goes on for 3 hours of me just gushing about everything, I have some other stuff I want to talk to you guys about, because here we have what I believe is a press release talking a bit about the game. So if I move on again over to one of my other monitors, you can see Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is the earth-shaking sequel. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Bringing the Budokai Tenkaichi series to a new generation. Shake the earth, break the heavens in the latest Dragon Ball game, bringing back the beloved Arena Brawler series after more than 15 years. And man, I'm definitely one of those people who thought there would never be a Tenkaichi game ever again, because why would we think there would be after all this time? But This goes to show, man, you never really know. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero brings back the revered 3D action battle game series previously known as Budokai Tenkaichi in the West. Arriving on new-gen consoles and PC, this is the first entry in the series since Budokai Tenkaichi 3 released in 2007 on PlayStation 2. So even they're not trying to acknowledge Ultimate Tenkaichi. Which actually, now that I think about it, who even developed Ultimate Tenkaichi? I'm not actually 100% sure. Let me go ahead and Google that real quick. Ultimate Tenkaichi was developed by Spike. It was actually Spike. And that was their first fumble in a while with the Tenkaichi series or with the Dragon Ball games that they were making. But that was definitely them trying something new and different. And that was Xenoverse before Xenoverse. So you guys don't really know about Ultimate Tenkaichi. You have to make your own character, and they had this hero mode or whatever. And it kind of laid the blueprint for what Xenoverse ended up becoming, even though that was developed by Dimps, I believe. But I digress. Going back to this article, engaging exhilarating battles, you know, etc., etc. And then here we have Bandai Namco Entertainment America Incorporated blasted global audiences with a Kamehameha by announcing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the first entry to the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi series in more than years at the Game Awards. The debut trailer, which showcased in-game footage, revealed a visually stunning, authentic continuation of the Budokai Tenkaichi series alongside faithful recreations of legendary characters and their special powers as they fight epic battles on massive and destructible fighting arenas. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is coming exclusively to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC via Steam. Now, I know there's going to be some people out there who are disappointed to hear that. Here's the thing though, right? Every single time a new big title gets announced, it's half a meme but half serious from certain people. I'm seeing people ask the question, is this game going to be on PS4? People are asking that about Grand Theft Auto. People are asking that about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like all the major titles that keep getting announced, is it going to be on PS4? Is it going to be on PS4? And of course, you know, Xbox One or whatever, right, is on the same generation. We still don't have a release date or release year for this game. Very minimum, obviously, right? It's 2024. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not until 2025. We're now 3 years in to this generation of consoles lifespan. Going on 4, right? The PS5 release at the end of 2020 is now the end of 2023. This game's not going to release probably until late 2024 or somewhere in 2025. So if we're 4 or 5 years into the next generation of consoles and you don't have one yet, I understand everyone's situation is different. Everybody can afford to have the latest and greatest consoles, and these things are very expensive. But at a certain point, we kind of got to move on. And if you don't have one, that's kind of a you problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't continue to get held back forever. And that's part of the reason why this game is going to look so beautiful, is because it's, you know, being made for. We also, this is another thing. I was gonna say next generation hardware. We gotta cut that out, because 2K. I play a lot of NBA 2K for those who don't know, right? Which you should know. But anyway, they still call PS4 current gen and PS5 next gen, and the same thing goes with Xbox, whatever, right? No, y'all are on previous gen. This is the current gen. We gotta stop this. It's not next gen no more. It's been 3 years going on 4. Okay, if by 2025 you don't have a PS5. I'm sorry, that is unfortunate. I hope you get one at some point, but we can't continue to hold these consoles back because people haven't been able to upgrade in 5 years. Like, it just, again, everyone's situation different. I get that. Everybody ain't made of money. That's cool. That's fine. I understand that. But you also don't have to have the latest and greatest every single version of every video game that comes out either, if you can't afford to upgrade over the course of 5 years. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's only fair. That's just my opinion. It is what it is. If you want to kill me for it in the comments, by all means, whatever, right? Moving on. Developed by Spike Chunsoft, the developers behind the original Budokai Tenkaichi series, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero brings the series forward to a new era by harnessing the power of Unreal Engine 5 and pushing the envelope for gameplay and features in an arena brawler. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero also brings the franchise back to the original Japanese naming convention, where the original Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi was titled Dragon Ball Z Sparking, as I already explained to you guys a little bit earlier. This is the Dragon Ball fighting game players have been waiting for, bringing a new sequel for one of the most beloved game series based on the franchise to a new generation of players. And I can't even begin to imagine, like, all the kids, like all the people who are kids now, they're gonna get to grow up with this series. And that's the thing, like, this might be the first one, and this is successful. There's gonna be a Sparking, well, they're calling it Sparking Zero, which again, I don't know if that means they're trying to do like some sort of like reboot or like start the universe. Well, no, because this isn't the same as like Mortal Kombat, where it has like an ongoing story and they can just kind of like reboot it and start it over. Like the Tenkaichi series was just like essentially just retelling the Dragon Ball Z story over and over again with like just more in-depth story mode of the same story, and then like more characters on the roster. So I don't really understand the name for this game, but regardless, like, this will probably be the first of multiple games in the series of the Sparking line, like the official like English, again, whatever you want to call it, right? There'll probably be more Sparking Zero games or sequels to this game, right? And that's incredible for like this new generation of kids that are gonna grow up with it the same way that we did with the original Tenkaichi games. And these ones will hopefully be even bigger and better than the ones that we got back in the day. Anyway, it has been more than 15 years since Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi pioneered arena brawlers, and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero continues the legacy by adding new genre-defining features made possible only with the latest game platforms to deliver one of the most immersive anime game experiences of all time. And they kind of gassing it up. I ain't gonna lie, but they got me on board. The game's gravity-defying fights promise to shake the earth, break the heavens, with each Dragon Ball character's signature destructive powers and key abilities showcased in stunning detail with damage capable of destroying entire parts of the arena, and then so on and so forth. There's another thing I want to go ahead quickly take a look at with you guys, because there's a couple of quotes in here that I think are worth acknowledging. So here we have the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero website page or whatever, right? Shake the earth, break the heavens, etc., make your destructive power. You know what I'm saying? You can read that. However, if we zoom in a bit more here, this line in particular is very interesting. Okay, I scrolled past it. Hold on, let me just get back up. There we go. Anyway, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero takes the legendary gameplay of the Budokai Tenkaichi series and raises it to whole new levels. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has an incredible number of playable characters, each with signature abilities, transformations, and techniques. Unleash the fighting spirit within you and take the fight to arenas that crumble and react to your power as the battle rages on. Now, the important thing to note here is obviously incredible number of playable characters, okay? What is like the main selling point of the Tenkaichi games? What is the number one thing that people remember most about the Tenkaichi games? Why do people love and praise Tenkaichi 3 as one of the greatest Dragon Ball games and one of the greatest anime games of all time? It's because of the roster, right? Now, I personally don't believe that the roster is the end all be all. Now, obviously, of course, right, you want to have the right characters and a decent number of characters in any game, especially like a fighting game and an arena fighter and whatnot, right? But the roster for me is not the most important aspect of this game, but it is for a lot of people, including probably many of you out there watching this right now, right? And man, I mean, if Bergamo is in the game, right, that already introduces, number one, the fact that they're gonna have a lot of playable characters that probably aren't like your typical super mainstream important to the plot characters, right? It's gonna be a lot more than just Goku and Vegeta, right? Second of all, Super, right? Now, I think we could obviously expect that and went without saying. We already seen Super Saiyan Blue, which technically is a Dragon Ball Z transformation because it was in Resurrection F, which was a Z movie, and then it's in Super. We also see DB as Broly. So, you know, they've already made it very apparent that there's going to be stuff from the Dragon Ball Super anime in here. Broly, you could say like, okay, well, he's in manga or he's from a movie, but like Bergamo is like, that's a Dragon Ball Super anime character. Well, I guess he's also in the manga, you know what I'm saying? But the Dragon Ball Super anime stuff is going to be in here, right? And there's going to be some, I wouldn't necessarily call them obscure, but less relevant, less important characters that are very clearly going to be in the game. And I don't think it's just going to be a story mode thing either. But it is interesting to speculate and theorize about what the story mode of this game is going to be like. Is it going to start all the way with the original Dragon Ball? Will Dragon Ball be in this game? It's called Dragon Ball. It doesn't even say Z. It's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, not Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. So it could start all the way from Kid Goku meeting Bulma all the way up to the end of the Super anime. Now, as far as DLC goes, or can we get stuff like Moro and Granola? I hope so. But yeah, we could talk all day long. I'll probably do a whole separate video, maybe even get some guests talking about roster speculations and theories and whatnot. But yeah, the roster is obviously very, very important to the majority of people when it comes to a Dragon Ball Z or a Dragon Ball Tenkaichi game or the Sparking Zero game, right? Now, quickly, let me just look up the exact number of characters that were in Tenkaichi 3. So according to Wikipedia real quick, Tenkaichi 3 features 98 characters in 161 forms. I won't be surprised if this game has well over 100 characters. And I was definitely one of those people that was saying, hey, don't get your hopes up. We don't know for sure how they gonna cook with this one. So if the game launches and only got like 50 characters, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see no outrage. But from how they're talking about this game, how they're hyping it up from this quote specifically, I think this game is going to have over 100 characters probably at launch with DLC. And once you include all the different forms and transformations and everything, because we have so many more characters and transformations since Tenkaichi 3, we could end up with essentially over like 200, 300 different characters once you include all different forms and stuff, right? Which is insane to think about. And like I said, with DLC and everything and all the movies, like this is going to have probably the most incredible roster of any Dragon Ball game and of any anime game. And one of the reasons why I say that is because there was actually, this quote has changed since this page originally went up. Now, you can speculate on the reason as to why they did that. However, let me go ahead and quickly find real quick the original quote of what this page said before they changed it. So here I found a screenshot of what the post originally said, or what the page really said. It says, has a historic number of playable characters, right? Why they changed the wording, I don't know. However, there's one other image real quick that I want to pull up for you guys that I think I have somewhere around here. Here we go. Let me just go ahead and pull this over here. This image right here, the text is in Japanese. However, I have the translation for you guys. And this right here actually reads and says, 3D battle action featuring the largest character roster in the series. Now, I think for a lot of you guys, that's probably obvious. For a lot of you, that probably went without saying. For me, again, being skeptical and being kind of like, I don't know, like I wasn't so sure. But with this right here, and this comes directly from the Japanese website, where they flat out just say, hey, this is going to have the biggest roster ever. So again, 98 characters, 161 forms. This one's going to easily have well over 100, probably over 200. You know what I'm saying? When everything is all said and done. Now, how many of those are going to be on the base roster? How many are going to be DLC? Yet to be determined. I don't really know, but it's definitely something to be excited about and look forward to. And I don't know about you guys, man, but the more I talk about it, the more excited I'm getting. And I guess quickly we can go back to this page and just read the little blurbs here on the website where it says breathtaking 3D fights engage in heart-pounding high-speed 3D battles that stay true to the anime and video game series with breathtaking visuals and authentic combat moves like beam clashes. They actually confirmed it. I didn't even realize this was a thing. Beam clashes are already confirmed. So this is straight up, I thought from, like maybe this could be a little camera trick. No, they straight up just confirmed beam clashes. Okay, well then going back to my original point of saying, like, I would hope personally that it's button mashing to win the clash as opposed to spinning the analog sticks. That's because spinning the sticks is rougher on your controller and rougher on your hands, to be honest. Rush attacks, movements too quick for the eyes to see, and planet raising ultimate attacks, again, kind of, hinting at that stage destruction. The ground will shake. Step into an arena that reacts to your every action as you transform or unleash your most devastating attacks. Watch the environment respond with stunning realism, leaving a trail of destruction in your wake as you battle to your heart's content. And again, my question here is, when we're on this generation of consoles, we should be able to handle somewhat permanence to the stage destruction. I would like to believe, I would like to say, I would like to think. Right, because you have a game like Xenoverse where there is stage destruction, and like you can if you fire like key blast on the stage or whatever, like you see it destroy the stage, but then it kind of regenerates or whatever and goes back to how it originally was. Where in this, I feel like if I destroy some shit, it should stay destroyed. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. And that is all for that page. And I think I have one more thing I want us to take a look at before we get out of here. So we have one more article from IGN that I want to take a look at and read through with you guys. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero producer says game will have Budokai Tenkaichi spirit and nostalgia. During the Game Awards, Bandai Namco revealed a trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, etc., etc. We already know this, right? But naturally, IGN assembled the 7 Dragon Balls and spoke with producer Jun Furutani to chat about the game's 5-year development process and get some insight into what players can expect when Sparking Zero releases on Xbox Series, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, this right here kind of threw me for a loop. 5-year development process. So this game has been cooking for a minute. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter like suddenly praise Xenoverse now for like its longevity and like what it has done, and like, I don't really understand it. And I'm not trying to be like a hater or like Debbie Downer or like sticking them up. Like I genuinely don't understand what the correlation is there. I don't know why this game being in development for 5 years suddenly means that Xenoverse did anything. Like I'm not even hating on Xenoverse. Like I genuinely, so like if somebody could explain it to me so that I could understand, that would be great, because I don't understand what Xenoverse and it getting DLC for all this time and like what it's been doing. I don't understand how that has anything to do with this. Genuinely. So like if you could make it make sense to me, that would be great, because I see a lot of conversation about this on Twitter, people like making all these memes and like praising Xenoverse and like doing all this stuff, and I don't get it, because again I just don't see the correlation there whatsoever. But moving on, although several Dragon Ball games have released since 2007's Budokai Tenkaichi 3 on PlayStation 2 and Wii, Furutani says now would felt like the perfect time for the series to return and deliver an evolved Dragon Ball Z gameplay experience on next-gen consoles. What was interesting to see with Sparking Zero was the effect on the environment. When Goku's charging his ki, you have a little bit of wind picking up, Furutani said while pantomiming about Goku's Zenkai boost. When someone crashes through a boulder or a building after an attack, it's happening in real time. We'll be using Unreal Engine 5, so the graphics are just that more real and immersive. Furutani says he drew inspiration from his time observing how players in Dragon Ball FighterZ esports scene enjoyed recreating iconic battles from the anime to ensure players could relish in an identical experience with Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero is different from Dragon Ball FighterZ, Xenoverse, and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. FighterZ was created with esports intentions with 2D fighting. Kakarot was about experiencing the story. Xenoverse had players go in as an avatar into the world. The focus here is to push the limits of how much a player can completely immerse themselves into the world and how intensely we can make that happen. So they're focusing a lot on the gameplay. They're not focusing on trying to make it like super competitive like a Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's not about having like this super like open world for you to explore and everything like that. It's not going to be like a game with custom characters. Like they really just want it to be Tenkaichi, and at its core to me, the Tenkaichi games were all about the most in-depth experience you can get for reliving the Dragon Ball Z story mode and playing with every possible character that you can imagine. That's what the Tenkaichi series was to me. Like a super like detailed story mode, just going through the entirety of Dragon Ball. And for me personally, my hopes is that we start all the way from Kid Goku and go all the way up to Tournament of Power. And then with DLC, we go even beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Give me the superhero, give me DBS Broly, give me, I want all of it. I want all of it. Give me the manga stuff. I don't know if that's gonna get animated at some point eventually, like you would assume, right? But we don't really know for sure. Maybe one day, but I want everything. I want it all. I want it all. But that's just me. I don't know about you. Moving on. Before the new Budokai Tenkaichi trailer made its world premiere earlier this year, fans referred to the previously unnamed title as Budokai Tenkaichi 4. Gamatsu spotted a Bandai Namco trademark filing in September, revealing that the game would instead adopt the series' Japanese title Sparking, which when that trademark got filed, I didn't think much of it in terms of it being the actual name, because again, like I assumed that it had to do with Tenkaichi 4, but Sparking, as previously stated, was the Japanese name for Tenkaichi anyways. I was like, okay, they're working on a new Tenkaichi game. That's probably what this is, but we already know that. But I didn't think that the actual name was going to be Sparking when it came out like in English, like officially. But here it is. Although the subtitle Zero tends to indicate a game ostensibly serving as a prequel entry in an ongoing game series, that isn't the case with Sparking Zero. Rather, the name is meant to embody the game being an accessible starting point for longtime fans and newcomers alike. Despite my best efforts, I wasn't able to get Fudetani to spill the sensu beans about the game's roster size, or more importantly, if the series' beloved loading screen minigames will make its triumphant return. Yo, like, you know, making Roshi fly like in the Budokai games, or like, you know, how you can move like the radar and stuff, or like Yamcha breaking the bricks with a spirit ball, or like having Goku eat as many bowls of food as he could. Like, yeah, bring all that stuff back. I'm here for all of that, man. If you go try to capitalize on the nostalgia of what the Tenkaichi games really used to be and everything like that, you gotta include stuff like that in the game for sure. However, Fudetani beckoned fans to look forward to more details in the future and expect a robust game when Sparking Zero releases on Xbox Series X, S, PlayStation 5, and Steam. And that is the last article that I have to talk to you guys about. So now I just kind of want to ramble a little bit about like what we can expect moving forward with this game, right? So we don't have a release date. We don't know a whole lot about roster size. Obviously, we got some gameplay, right? But there's still a lot of unknown factors when it comes to this game and when it's going to release and everything surrounding that. So when's the next time we're gonna get some news about this? Well, there is the Dragon Ball Battle Hour, right, happening next month. I believe the 26th, 27th, somewhere around there, right, in January. Are we going to get anything for Sparking Zero there? This could go either way. Did they blow their load at the Game Awards? Is this all they're gonna have for a little bit until we see something else like a Jump Festa or another gaming event or whatever? Like, I don't know. Or will we finally get something even bigger and better, a little bit more of a breakdown and a release date, or at the very least a release year? I'm not expecting them to say, oh, it's going to release on, you know, March 26, 2024, right? But like releasing 2024, or if it unfortunately has to be all the way until 2025, at least we'll have some sort of time frame in mind for when we can expect to see the full release of the game. And, you know, will there be betas for this game and so on and so forth? Like, we don't really know yet. We don't really know, but it's definitely exciting times right now to be a Dragon Ball fan with the release of the release of the rollback beta for Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is actually surprisingly very, very good. Dragon Ball Z Universe 2 is still alive and kicking to this day. Legends and Dokkan Battle still going incredibly strong, and from what I hear from my homies who play those games, they've been having a lot of great events and releases in those games as well. Sparking Zero is now you know, on the horizon, or is coming forward, and like it's Dragon Ball fans is eating pretty good right now. Dragon Ball fans is eating pretty good right now. Also in the manga, the new arc's about to start. They're wrapping up the superhero movies, so something brand new is about to happen in the manga. Only thing we're missing right now is a new movie or an anime, which Daima is on the way, and I know a lot of people aren't hype about that, but I am. So really, the only thing that we're missing right now is a movie. That's the only thing that's missing is a new movie, and like, we just recently got one of those, so I can't even be mad. Dragon Ball fans is eating good right now. Dragon Ball fans is eating good right now, man. I don't know about you guys. Personally, I'm very excited. But this video's already been crazy long, but I just had a lot I wanted to talk to you guys about, and there's probably even more things that I want to talk about that I forgot to bring up or mention in this video. But any comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, opinions, anything you guys have, feel free to leave it down below. There's definitely going to be more videos of me talking about Sparking Zero coming very soon. And like I said, I might get some guests on the channel as well to talk about some things, because there's a lot to talk about. Even with just a minute of gameplay, there's a lot to talk about right now, and a lot to speculate about, which is always very, very fun, and a lot to theorize about. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit the video with a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all the content I'm bringing you. With all that being said, it's pretty much off today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.